There's only love. I've heard that song I don't know how many decades, I think, at this point, and that always touches me. That there is only love. There's only one source and one power. There's only one. And it takes me to what if? What if you and I, all that we believed and all that we held is that there is only love? What kind of life would we have? What would we manifest? What would we create? What experiences would we have if there is only love was our mantra that consumed us and we lived by? But we don't quite do that, do we? We do it at times. We have our moments, we have our days that we hold that and we look forth and we see that there's absolute good and that it's present everywhere in our lives. But we don't seem to maintain that. We stumble at times. And I'm going to offer that stumbling is what takes us even deeper into God, deeper into that awareness. I grew up in a family very young. My alcoholic father beat and terrorized my family. I have horrific stories that I could share from that. But I know firsthand, because I've heard some of your stories, half of you in here have horrific stories you could share. And the other half of you, your stories nonetheless impacted you, affected you, influenced you just the same, just as powerfully. And they impact us that maybe they wound us. Maybe they take us into a place that we learn how to operate. We create a belief system about our world, about how we function in that world. But I can tell you, because of my childhood, is why I'm standing up here. What I gained and grew from in that experience brought me to a place that I can be here with you. So I know that it was powerful, that there was a force working, that love was at play, so to speak, in my life. So that love's power was impacting, influenced me, even in a time that I most certainly would say was a dark time in my life. It most certainly also revealed the light. So we have those experiences everywhere in our lives. Not just our childhoods, not just last week, but those happen throughout our lives. I can jump to when I was 21. I flew to Quantico, Virginia, compliments of the Marine Corps. I don't know how I got there, but I got there. I was there for the Marine Corps Officer Candidate School Platoon Leaders class. Their approach is that they were doing a screening and evaluation period to determine whether they were going to offer me a commission after I graduated college. Read between the lines. They're going to harass me till I quit. That's their strategy. I'm 2 weeks in the 10-week program. I am absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, confident I am not going to be a Marine. I do not like this. I don't like anything that I'm experiencing about what a Marine does. It's just not me. I'm not going to be a Marine. But as life does, something in me said, stay here. Stay here. I don't like it here. And I don't want the result that this takes me to. Why stay here? I just knew to stay there, and I stayed. Graduated in 10 weeks, flew home. I can tell you the next day after I flew home where I was standing and what I was doing when I went, what now? What do I do now? I don't want to go back to the education I was doing, and I most certainly don't want to be a Marine. What now? And as all of us, I believe all of us know, I heard that voice that we hear it up here, but it comes from here. And it said, what do you want, Russ? I knew what I wanted. I had known since I'd been 15 years old what I wanted. I wanted to be a chiropractor, but I was a mediocre student at best. And I had no faith that I could handle the academic rigors of chiropractic. So my faith, or lack of faith in me, had turned me away from something that I desired and wanted. But the Marine Corps, being the Marine Corps, I came out of that believing that there was no mountain that I couldn't take, no ocean that I couldn't cross, that there was no adversary that I couldn't overcome. So this stretch in my life that was not taking me to the outcome I thought I wanted, that I didn't like, to me, I can see love's power touching me because it touched my beliefs. It gave me a new way to look out and see my life and see me, and allowed me to say, then there's nothing that can stop me at this. And I began that process. Now, we don't have enough weeks for me to touch in what chiropractic and those experiences around it have done to take me deeper into God, to reveal to me God in my life. And yes, some years were a little slower and I was a lot more thick-headed than others, but nonetheless, all the experiences in my life, even those dark, the ones I didn't love, were loving me. They were giving me the way to see my life differently and to step deeper into my love of God. A few weeks ago, I was sitting with Elena and Amanda, and we were talking about how for the last few years, we begin the year with a word, and it's our intent that we carry for the year. And we went into meditation after that discussion, and I got absolutely certain about something. And that is what 2017, this year, what 2017 is about for me personally. And that wasn't a word, it was a phrase. And that phrase for me is know God. K-N-O-W. Know God. Not know God that I have more intellectual understanding, but that knowing of I'm infused with, I'm intertwined with. I can't separate God from Russ. That type of know God. And I know that it's not that that's new for me. There's been other stretches in my life, if not decades in my life, that I was looking at how to have a better relationship and understanding of the God that dwells here. But this is my year to focus purely and solely on that. And I'm inviting you as my family to join me in that. To join me in the process to know God. Because that's a process. You're not going to come just on Sundays and know God. You're not going to just read a book and know God. That's a living experience that has to take place. And Andre Baudouin started us last week with it when he started talking about practice. Practices that we're doing things that help deepen our awareness and help us align with what it is that we want, in this case, to know God. And you may be sitting out there going, I'm not sure I want to know God. I think that if you're in this room, you're in this experience right now, you do. No matter what your head told you, the reason that you came here today or why you come and participate in this community, I think you want that. You want to know God. Rumi talks about God. Well, Rumi says that we call to God and God calls to us. And to me, I would say that's because they're one and the same. And the point is to bring that alignment. That's to know God, to know the union of me, this man, this experience with beloved that is really me in this experience. So I'm going to share today 3 practices because I think that it takes practices. It takes a routine, daily experience to help us know God. And the beauty of that practice is you get to decide how deep you go. Do you wade or do you dive down deep? And that's no judgment. That is just your choice on what you do with it. But I believe that these practices will help us as a community because they help us individually. And the first practice is the practice of affirmation. And the affirmation is God is absolute good, everywhere present. That's roughly the first principle of unity. God is absolute good, everywhere present. So how do you use this practice? Take your journal, write it down every morning. You read that, you speak that, you contemplate that, You read things that help you understand that. You continue in your day-to-day life. What does that mean? How do I explore that more so? And then to me, most importantly, how do you take that into your day? When you stop to get that first cup of coffee of the day and you're looking at that barista, to me, say that affirmation. God is absolute good, everywhere present. Then God, absolute good, is right here in this being. This is absolute good, being everywhere present, right here in front of me. When I go to work and I'm with that coworker that's not quite so pleasant, God is absolute good, everywhere present. I'm holding that affirmation and seeing this person that way. My boss, my family, that carries through my day. That shapes you to start looking for absolute good everywhere present and seeing it revealed. Because when you start looking for things, they start revealing themselves to you. That the illusion of the experience starts to shift. So our first affirmation, our first practice together is the practice of affirmation. God is absolute good, everywhere present. And the second affirmation, Andre started this one too. I believe you called it QTC, quality time with coffee. My personal practice for me, I had to begin meditating to find the silence. Because to me, silence and God are one and the same. And I started a meditation practice to help me be able to touch the silence so I could take the silence into my coffee time. So I could take it into my walks, into my runs, into my hikes, into my day, into my relationships. And I did that with meditation. So I'm going to offer that our second practice is the practice of meditation. And if you like me and all the rest of you, I hear you. You're going, but it don't work. I can't shut my mind up. I go to sleep. My bum goes to sleep when I'm meditating. It is just not working for me. That's meditation. That's the experience of meditation, is that you have those awarenesses. So many ways to meditate. We meditate here as a community, and we will in a few minutes. Different ways, but here's a very simple approach to meditation. Go find you a quiet spot, sit in your chair, sit on your cushion, set you a timer for 20 minutes, set you an intent for your meditation. How about know God? All right? Set that intention. And then do really hard stuff. Here it comes. Breathe big, let it go. Let it go. Bring your awareness to that breath. Feel your breath move across your nostril and your upper lip. And guess what? The thoughts will be there. And you go, thank y'all for sharing. And you come back to breath, feeling the sensation across my nostrils and my lips, and the thoughts will be there, and you'll say, thank you for sharing, and you'll come back to breath, and you'll do that for 20 minutes. And you may do that for weeks or months. That process will continue, because meditation to me isn't about making the mind quiet, mean totally and completely silent. It's only meant to diminish it. Because in the diminishing, then you can watch it. You can be witness to it. And in the witnessing, you'll recognize that that voice, all those voices I hear in my head, are not the same as this that's watching those voices. And you'll start to see that difference revealed for you. So, meditation to me is that process of moving us towards silence. So our second practice together is the practice of meditation. Being in the silence with God. Third practice. To me, that's the practice of community. And I know that doesn't seem like it fits, because the other practices are what they have to be. They have to be your practices. They have to be you personally doing the practices. No one can give you God. No one can make you have an awareness or a knowledge of God. It has to be a personal practice. But the practice of community is about being in a community that supports you, that holds you in that intent to know God. It also needs to be a community that you can step into in a way that you can be vulnerable, that you can share intimately, and that you can have that relationship that you voice where you're at, that you can help unfold even more so of that knowledge of God. That's why we began our spirit groups. Those small groups were to give us a place to come in community that we could be intimate with each other. We're caring and loving on Sunday, but the depth of intimacy that needs to take place. And I know we get a little squirrely about that word. We're not sure how intimate we want to be. I'm talking about the intimacy here, intimacy with yourself that you're able to have with other people's. And small groups, to me, are the answer to that. They provide you a little education, so you gain a little more knowledge. They help you tweak your practices. They help bring you more knowledge of other practices, but they also help you personally talk about and hear where you're at so that you can look and discover where God is really alive and what you believe is the dark places. So, our third practice is the practice of community. These three practices to me, are there more? Yeah. There can be many more, and they can be variations of this. But we want to, as a community, return to me what's foundational. Affirmation, meditation, and being in community are the foundations that we need to know God, to have that living experience. You and I think there's very little difference between you and I when you take off the outer covering, right? We have our different desires and different wishes, but our core underneath, we want something. We want something passionately. And if we allow ourselves to go there, I know I've been in spiritual community that passionately sought God. We said it in our own ways and discussed it in our own ways, but we spent our time together supporting each other, knowing God. And my life changed. And I know that some of you in this room can already say your life has changed from being here in this community. It will change in more depth. You just have to be willing to step in. Whether it's just a toe in, or whether you're going off the high dive and going deep. It's just stepping in. And we can do that together. That's what community is about to me. It's what family is about. And that's our future practice together, is being in community as we explore this more through the year of 2017. I'm going to take us into meditation, and I'm going to add, I'm going to add a little twist. We're going to take an intent into meditation, and our intent is to know God. So if you'll make yourself comfortable, if you'll gently close your eyes, and take that big breath and release. Feel your body relaxing. Feel your feet gently touching the earth. Feel the pressure of the seat pushing on your thighs, on your back, on your shoulder blades. Note the movement of your breath through your nostrils, across your lips. And know that you are in your perfect place. There is only love. Love that calls out to you. You, it calls to. It seeks you. It seeks to remind you that you are beloved. This love is peace. This love is power, strength, joy. And this love is faith. Faith that all you ever needed is contained within you. Today, this moment, you let go and you let God have its way with you. And you flow forth and you recognize and you hold and you celebrate that you are beautiful. And love points its way to your fulfillment, to your happiness, to your joy. And you, in turn, call to love. You reach out, beckoning it, claiming it, bringing that love to you as an awareness of love in you. You feel that heart within your body beating. That's the beat of love. And you remind yourself that love's power is your power. And through this universal power, you affirm, I know God. I am ready to receive divine intervention. I receive, acknowledge, and embrace love's power. I claim my inheritance of divine support and supply. I have faith in God within all things. I have faith in me as divine expression. I claim my good. I receive my good. Love is God, and God is love. I am one and the same. I am intimately connected with God. I am one because there is only one. There is only love. And as we move into the silence, affirm that I am willing to know love. I am willing to know me. Love is my decision. I invite you to gently bring your awareness back to your body and your seat, to the flow and movement of your breath. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.